everyone. So as we all know by now, well, at least those of us who are paying attention, even remotely, to the numbers, the statistics, and facts as it pertains to the COVID-19, not just the outbreak, not just the cases, but who or what demographic is being greatly affected, harmed, or dying at a disproportionate rate in this country. Well, it's those in long-term care facilities, and we all know this at this point in time. Or, well, I guess those of you who have kept your head in the sand, but chances are you're not watching this video, right? So, yeah, the people that have kept their heads in the sand just don't pay attention to anything. I suppose they don't really know any of this stuff. But anyone, like I say, that's been remotely paying attention, we all know. And the numbers have gone anywhere from 75 to 85 to up to close to 90%. Or possibly even excess that. Once again, this is still unfolding, it's still unraveling, right? We still got to figure this stuff out. Numbers still need to be crunched. But we all know, like I say, at the very least, the massive overwhelming majority of people in this country who are dying from COVID-19 are people in long-term care facilities who are also quite old, which obviously makes sense if they're in a long-term care facility. And like I said very early on, and like the evidence is all out there. That's the beautiful thing about what I do, is it's all on record, folks. You can't deny it. It's all out there. It's all on record, right? And I said very early on, way earlier than most people, that yes, of course it's going to be the vulnerable. Of course it would be such things as these long-term care facilities where you really need to be proactive and protecting these people because of their vulnerability. And like I say, not even to do with just COVID alone, but even if you have a cold or a flu, you know yourself, if you go to visit your grandma and she's like 80 years old, right? And has lots of comorbidities, or maybe not the healthiest person in the world, probably not a good idea to go when you have a cold or a flu or anything to go visit her, right? Or him if it's grandpa, right? Sorry, let's include both sexes into this, right? Grandpa or grandma. But I mean, come on. That's just common sense. That's just being reasonable. And we didn't need big government mandates, lockdowns, or edicts to tell us this in the past. So I don't know why governments today, I don't know, they all think we've just turned into adolescents and children, I guess, right? I don't know, maybe they're projecting once again, because I will say, when it comes to the ruling class, the political class, and the media class, or even those in the education or financial institutions, it's like, where have all the adults gone? Are there any adults in the room anymore? And I suppose what it is they recognize none of them are actually acting like adults. So that's how they perceive the rest of Canada or the rest of society as well. Well, that's their own internal failures, right? But anyways, like I say, let's deal with the very real fact that these long-term care facilities are at the core of the largest number of people who are succumbing or dying of COVID-19. And we also, that's another thing, it could just be a contributing factor. Might not even be the only factor, just one small, or, it could be higher level, but it's just a contributing factor, but it still gets listed as you die. So once again, there's all kinds of nuance, all kinds of gray area there, all on its own. But who's in charge of regulating or setting up the rules for any long-term care facilities? And like I say, it doesn't matter if it's private or public, all long-term care facilities in this country have to function under the same rules, right? Government regulates all industry, right? Government doesn't say, here, you get out of jail free pass where you can just do whatever the hell they want. No, government regulates every aspect of the economy, right? So come on, government ultimately, and those regulations that everyone says that, we need them, right? We need these regulations. Well, okay, the regulations are in place, or at the very least they should have been, right? I mean, we know that there's old people that live in these long-term care facilities. We know even prior to COVID that people have cold and flu and all these. So all these people, these experts, or these people in the healthcare field, they should all understand this stuff intrinsically enough to make sure everyone's being proactive, especially when there's a new outbreak or a new virus. But once again, if we relied on government and central planners, right, a bunch of professional liars and thieves, right, to do the right thing, I don't know how else to explain to you, but you're not only naive, but dangerously gullible. And not just for you, but a whole lot of other Canadians as well. Anyways, like I say, folks, let's get to the article. Headline out of CBC News, New Brunswick, CBC investigates. Most NB special care homes didn't have required annual inspections this year. CBC analysis of inspections reports shows government has struggled to inspect homes on time even before COVID-19. This being reported by Carissa Donkin, December 11th, 2020. New Brunswick's Department of Social Development hasn't done annual licensing inspections at most of the province's special care and memory care homes this year, a CBC News analyst has found. I mean, of all years, right? Probably would be really, really important to do it this year at the very least, but no, apparently not. The government's delay means that most homes appear to have expired certificates of approval, which legislation stipulates is necessary for those homes to operate. But, well, apparently it's not. Now, you know, folks, there's rules for thee, but not for me when you talk about government. The old double standard, right? It means 77% of special care homes, 274 facilities, and 75% of memory care homes, 27, appear to have no certificate or an expired certificate, according to government records posted online as of December the 1st, right? I mean, that's all the way to the end of the year, folks. So you'd think they would be a little bit more proactive to make sure that they're doing a better job, especially that late in the year, many months after the outbreak. But once again, I wonder why they wouldn't do that. Is it incompetence? I mean, I'll leave it up to you to speculate the reasoning behind this stuff. But once again, at the very least, you should question this pretense of government benevolence or altruism on behalf of the ruling class in this country, right? They don't give a fuck about you and these lockdowns and these mandates, these orders, these edicts, and you know whether it's masking or like I say, any other aspect of lockdowns. You know it's all about exercising control and authority, not about genuinely protecting the people or making safety the priority. And I would even suggest that alone, even that conversation needs to take place. But even under that pretense, they're failing at every level. When asked why the inspections haven't been done, Social Development Minister Bruce Fitch pointed to the pandemic. You can just, hey, everything nowadays, whatever the hell, whatever you've ever done wrong, just now you just pointed, it's COVID. It's COVID's fault. Actually, we should all start that. Let's start a meme up that every time somebody says that they've failed in any endeavor or done something wrong and didn't own up to their failures or anyway, they just, or whatever excuse, right? Just blame COVID, right? Hey, the weather turns sour tomorrow. Hey, just blame COVID, right? Because I guess that's the go-to narrative these days. Everybody's trying to move through COVID and make sure that the residents are safe and protected and well looked after, Fitch said. So from an inspection standpoint, having more people going into homes would be an opportunity to introduce the COVID into the nursing homes. We can't do inspections because they might introduce COVID. Well, don't you think it'd be a wise idea that people you want to send in to inspect these homes have either taken a test, right? Or practice PPE and really, really rigid safety standards or protocols, right? But no, I can't do that. It's just, hey, we just can't do it, man. Right? Because COVID. Holy fuck, these people are unbelievable. This is the people, like I say, folks, listen, there's no adults in the room anymore. And the fact that you're willing to trust these people, like, wow. Or so many Canadians are, like, I shouldn't say you. It's like I say, I got to keep in mind the kind of people that watch my videos usually aren't as trusting of government as the rest of their peers or the rest of society, right? Anyways, continuing on. Fitch said some homes could also be delayed in getting their license renewed if they are missing documentation. Right? So, and we'll let lots of grandmas and grandpas die because missing documentation, right? So, hey, but one death is too many, right? Apparently not. Jesus Christ. Jan Seeley, president of the New Brunswick Special Care Home Association, also suspects COVID-19 is to blame for the inspection delays. Geez, I wonder if a woman that's president of the New Brunswick Special Care Homes Association might be in a position that she would want to reject any culpability or responsibility on the behalf of these special care homes, right? Why are you asking these people these questions when you know I could tell you what their answers are going to be without even reading them? But hey, whatever, right? So much fail, CBC. So much fail. Hey, but at least we're getting some information. Like, that's one thing I will say about the CBC. At least we get something. Now, you're not going to get the proper articulated messaging, but you're getting at least something, well, for people like myself to reference and hopefully help expand and elaborate on some of the information that's so vaguely produced in these articles. Our homes have been shut down to visitors several times since March. So I myself experienced some delays in getting my license renewed in August, said Seeley, who owns and operates a special care home in St. John. Anyways, folks, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below. Yeah, I don't want to read too much especially when you talk about these fucking dipshits that are just going to offer more and more excuses or platitudes or misdirect you from actually holding any of these people to account. Because really, that's what it is at the end of the day. It's no, look over here. Don't blame me. Someone else did something wrong. Don't ever blame me. That's basically what anyone that functions under big government these days, that's what it is all about at the end of the day, is passing the buck. Pass it off to someone else and don't hold me accountable, responsible for anything I've done, right? That's basically what government is at the end of the day anyway. It's always about nobody's held to account, right? So I don't know why people still sustain or support big government when you know that this is nothing new. This is not even shocking to me. This is just like boring. Of course, this is just what it is when you have big government, right, which is the monopoly of force of violence as the tool or how you deal with people socially or economically in society. Of course, not only is there going to be failures, but ethical and moral implications to a substantial degree just by that sheer fact alone, right? Anyways, folks, like I say, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below, and I'm going to move on to the next one. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.